Good morning, viewers, and welcome once again to Break Free TV, the place to love, laugh, and live. It's all about overcoming those challenges, rising above your circumstances, and turning the downside of those challenges into the upside of renewing your life. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to all my viewers and to everyone that has been sending their feedback and letting me realize that, you know what, this TV channel is doing exactly what I desired for it to do. So my question is, how are you this morning? What is it that you're hearing that has made you to shift your boat a bit? And the reason why I asked that is because in life, the things that we hear affects us a lot more than we actually realize. You see, many times we tend to think that, or we even say it, that the opinions of others doesn't affect us. But you see, your hearing is very, very crucial to your life. What you're hearing is very important to your life. Someone once asked, what is the window to your soul? Some said the eye, some said the nose, some said the mouth. But think about it. Have you ever stopped to realize that what you hear oftentimes affects you more than what you actually see? You see, there's a lot of things that you don't yet actually see, but for the fact that you've heard it, it's made a very, very great impact on your life. So that window would definitely be your hearing. What you hear tends to be what you start to think about. And what you think about is normally what you start to visualize. What you see is what you will start to say. And what you say oftentimes is exactly what you do. So who are you listening to this morning? What sound is waking you up this morning? Is it the sound of failure? Or is it the sound of success? And what am I talking about? I'm talking about tuning yourself in to the right vibe. You see, energy is all about vibration. And your energy can only come from what you have put inside you. So, what are you feeding yourself with? What are you feeding your inner voice with? What are you feeding your mind with? Are you spending enough money to elevate yourself, to grow? That personal, what would say, transformation. But have you ever stopped to wonder and think about your life and say to yourself, a lot of my conditioning actually came from what I heard. Growing up, you've heard to go out there, study, make sure you get your grades and get a good job. Very rarely you have someone or a parent that tells you, you know what, go out and try to get and own your own business. So you've been conditioned into believing, you know what, the most important thing is for me to get up, wake up, go to school, get my subjects, go and get a good job. I want to share with you a challenge that I experienced. As I said, I can only speak to you about overcoming challenges if I myself have ventured into certain areas. And I just want to share with you briefly how something that I heard affected my life for nearly a year. I remember a few years ago, I had a lump. It was coming up here and I just said to myself, oh, it's a gland. You know, every now and then you get a gland and it will raise up and it will go back. But this one wouldn't go back down. And I remember speaking to my grandmother, who was once a nurse, and she, I made her feel it. And I said, Gran, this is a gland, right? And she said, don't think so. It's a bit hard to be a gland. You should go to the doctor and check it out. But, you know, as young people, then I wasn't hurting me. So why do I need to go to the doctors? Let me just leave it. It's fine. And at that time, she was still living in our homeland, Jamaica. She was still living in Jamaica, and she used to visit. And I remember when she went back, she called me on the phone about 6 or 7 months after, and she said, have you been to the doctors as yet? And I said, Gran, you know what? I haven't. It has been paining me a little bit now, but it's just when I swallow. So I think it's because it's growing inside. She said, growing? Girl, and you don't reach to the doctors? And I thought to myself, yeah, Gran, don't worry, I'll go. And I remember going to the doctors one day for something completely different. Completely different. But you know what, guys? I'm going to say this to you. When your elders tell you to go to the doctor, yeah, don't brush it off. We have this kind of tough attitude. And somebody said, go to the doctor. And I said, I'm fine. I won't need to go to the doctors. But anyway, I went to the doctor and went for something completely different from this lump. And I remember leaving the doctor's office and I reached to the door and I heard my grandmother's voice. And I said, I know the next time she calls, she's going to ask me, have I been to the doctors? So I said, you know what, let me just go back and ask the doctor. And I said, Doc, I said to her, I've had this lump for a while now. It's not really paining me as such. I thought it was a gland, but it's not gone back down. When she felt it, she said, if it was a gland, it should have gone back down by now. But what I will do, I'll send you for a scan, to get a scan done. I remember going to the hospital, getting a scan done and thinking, oh, they're just going to send you home and say, don't worry, it will go down. So I went for the scan and I remember them saying to me, oh, I need to go for another scan somewhere else. And I was like, but can you tell me what it is? What's going on? They said, oh, they can't confirm with me just yet, but they will need to send me for another scan. So they sent me for another scan. In the end, to realize it was a benign tumor. And he said at the rate that it had grown to, would need to remove it as soon as possible, so that it doesn't become cancerous. So I thought, okay. And in that period of time, I was going through my wilderness moment in my marriage. At that time, I was still experiencing domestic abuse, which I didn't relate to my family. And went for my pre-op appointment with my mom. And I remember the surgeon going through the procedure, the process, and he was saying to me, it's very close to my nerve. And obviously if they touch the nerve, it's going to damage the left side of my face. It's going to give me paralysis on the left side of my face. And I remember my mom sitting there in tears. And I was like, Mom, don't worry, we'll be fine. And so I was supposed to have the operation 2 weeks after that appointment. At that time, I was almost like a prisoner in my house because my husband wouldn't allow me to go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere with friends. And I just remember this time, I don't know if it was the panic and everything that was happening with me. One night I decided, you know what, I'm going out with my friends. They invited me out, I'm going out with my friends. He was going out with his friends. So I thought, you know what, I'll be able to go out with my friends and I will definitely be coming back before he comes back so he won't know. Unfortunately, in conversation somehow with somebody else the following morning, he found out that I went out, and I don't have to tell you how that day was. And yeah, that day he got into a rage and one fist, wham, right on that lump, and I just everywhere just, it's like I couldn't see, it's like I couldn't think, everything just went black. I remember my face being swollen for a bit, and I was thinking, oh God, I need to get this face down before my family sees me, you know. I remember putting cold water, and the lump was just so painful. Guys, I can't explain to you, it was just so painful. Just to open my jaw, I was in agony. But let me move on to what the main point of what I'm trying to link is. By the time I went back to do my operation, the lump had grown in size, obviously from the force that it experienced from the hit, and what was supposed to be a 2-hour or 3-hour operation, I think it was, ended up being nearly 7 hours. Reason being, it grew so big, the nerve actually was wrapped around it. So when I came out of the operation, when I came back to face was actually taped up. And I remember the doctor coming to see me, and the first thing I wanted to know, you know, what happened, you know, what happened with the nerve, what happened with my face, how is my face, because my whole side was taped up. And just this word that he said to me made a big difference for the next year in my life. He said to me, at the moment, he explained to me that the operation took longer than it was supposed to. He said the lump grew nearly twice the size it was before on the inside, so the nerve was wrapped around it. And he said, so far, so good. But he must say to me that there's a very, very high possibility that my face will gradually start dropping on the left side. So I had to have constant visits to Chase Farm Hospital, the maxillofacial department. For those of you that are doctors, work in hospital, you'll have more idea of what I'm speaking about. So yeah, I had to be going every other week. But the fact that he made that statement to me that I could wake up one day and I would just realize that there's a difference with my face. I couldn't sleep. I went through a time of paranoia. I would jump up in the middle of the night, switch the lights on, and look in the mirror. It was to the point I could not even sleep with the lights off anymore. I had to jump up because the first thing I had to do is like I didn't want to fall asleep. I know he didn't mean it literally, but he just wanted to say, well, I could be okay 1 minute and then the next minute things change. But for the fact that he said to me, you could actually go to your bed and wake up and your face has started to experience paralysis. Guys, that shifted a big thing in me. And for that year, until I received the all clear for that whole year, I hardly slept. I lived in the mirror. There was always a mirror inside my bag. I didn't want to go out if in case my face just suddenly started transforming. Because what he said to me, it affected everything. Once your sleep is affected, your mood is affected, your whole life is affected. And I couldn't explain to anybody what I was feeling because I was going through that moment of fear. I could not explain the panic that was inside of me. I would wake up and my heart is just racing, pumping, beating. I've had mornings when I've been scared to look at the mirror. I've been just waking up, feeling my face. And because it was quite numb, I used to just think, oh, the numbness, I'm becoming paralyzed, you know. But guys, you have to understand that if that doctor did not say that to me, that surgeon, if he did not say that to me, I guarantee you, as much as I would have been concerned for that year, I don't believe it would have affected me the way it did. It was a big challenge for me at that time because all I could think about was my face. I pictured it. As I said before, what you hear is what you see. I pictured my face being paralyzed because he said I'm going to appear as if I've had a stroke. So it's going to just drop. That's what I heard. So that's eventually what I saw. Even when something wasn't wrong, even if I just had a little twinge, I saw my face the way the doctor described it, because that's what he said into my hearing. Now what is it that you've been told? Maybe you've been told you're not good enough, you're not qualified. Maybe you've been told you're a mess. Maybe you've been told you're ugly. Maybe you've been told you're stupid, you're good for nothing, you're useless. But ask yourself, truly, what they've said to me, is that actually the facts? Do I really want to believe what I'm hearing? Am I going to allow myself to accept the junk that's been coming to me? Or am I going to filter what I'm hearing? Am I going to put myself in the environment where I will feel good about myself? Because I can tell you this now. If you're not in the environment that is speaking positive to you, if you're not in the environment of people around you that are telling you you can achieve anything once you set your mind to it, you're in the wrong environment. You're in the wrong environment. So you need to position yourself, put yourself somewhere where you will be able to start building on yourself. Guys, things are challenging. Things are difficult. I came out of that operation and I thought all my life was gone because of my face, which was just a facial appearance. Even if something had gone wrong, would it have stopped me from actually making this video now? No, it wouldn't, because I would have found a way to get over it. The only outcome that has been left, here I have a scar right here because I had to lift the ear from here and go down. And for those of you that are around me, at some point you'll notice that when I'm eating, the sweat gland here just doing its own thing, man, and I have to be eating and always wiping. So some people may see me eating and wiping and they wonder, what is she doing? So that's the after effect, but it's nothing in comparison to what I was told. So the whole reason why I'm just explaining this to you is just to show you how important and how crucial it is to hear that positive word. How important it is to listen to the right things in the morning. I get up in the morning, I have my devotion, I read my Bible, I pray. And the next thing I want to hear is somebody's voice telling me I can do it. I can achieve what I want to achieve. And there's so many videos on YouTube, guys. If you don't have anybody around you to tell you this, you know, you have people like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Dr. Vincent Peale. You have all of these people. They're right there on YouTube. You know, search them up. Listen. Build your confidence. Build your vibe. Build your energy. And go out there and do what others have told you you cannot do. Once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to tune in to Breakthrough TV. It's all about overcoming your challenges and turning the downside of those challenges into the upside of renewing your life. And remember, as you go out through this week, pay close attention to what it is that you're listening to. It might make a very, very, very big difference in your life. Once again, thank you and have an awesome week. Bye-bye.